the airport to leave the country.
White House on the defense.
This is President Biden's Saigon moment. Earthquake aftermath. Rescue workers are frantically searching for survivors. Good morning. I'm Steve Kazin.
And I'm Tammy McCormick at the Pentagon with a CBS World News Roundup. The Taliban have seized control of Afghanistan, entering Kabul and finding no resistance. This morning, there was a frantic situation at Kabul International Airport. Afghans desperate to leave the country are chasing military planes on the tarmac, some tying themselves to the wheels, some falling to their deaths. Roxana Saberi begins our coverage.
This morning, more chaos as gunfire rang out. But the U.S. is deploying 1,000 more troops to the airport as Washington scrambles to evacuate Americans from Afghanistan. No one, including us, expected the Taliban to reach Kabul yesterday so fast. In the past few days, the Taliban have taken city after city, and they've approached on the capital, and now, with news that they are here, we are heading to the airport. Unable to get on a flight, we decided to stay. Taliban fighters soon declared an end to the war from the comfort of the presidential palace. Just hours after strolling into Kabul, just 11 days after launching an offensive, overwhelming U.S.-trained Afghan forces in cities across Afghanistan. By evening yesterday, President Ashraf Ghani, who only the day before had vowed to keep fighting, fled the country. He said he left to avoid bloodshed. His countrymen are calling him a coward.
The evacuation of the U.S. Embassy is complete, with some staffers now working at the airport. And the U.S. military, including the 82nd Airborne troops, which arrived last night, are securing the perimeter. The Biden administration is under increasing pressure to explain how things went wrong so quickly. Siraj Mahbooba of the Afghan Women's Network.
I cannot tell you how angry I am when it comes to the international effort and the way we were dropped. Do you know how many lives have been wasted because of this?
Here's our Ed O'Keefe.
Protests outside the White House Sunday as the situation in Afghanistan quickly deteriorated. President Biden remains at Camp David, where top military and security aides briefed him Sunday from a distance. And the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, issued a dire warning to lawmakers. The Taliban's swift return to power means al-Qaeda could now reconstitute itself in Afghanistan faster than U.S. government estimates of 2 years. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was left to explain things.
Like it or not, there was an agreement that the forces would come out on May 1st. Had we not begun that process, which is what the president did, and the Taliban saw, then we would have been back at war with the Taliban.
Colorado Democratic Congressman Jason Crow, who served 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, expressed concern.
Nobody anticipated that the 20-year buildup of an Afghan army, with the hundreds of billions of dollars that we poured into it, that army would not last a month.
Back in Kabul, Taliban fighters have started collecting weapons from civilians. Steve?
Well, Cammie, there's chaos and carnage in another part of the world, Haiti, where nearly 1,300 people are dead after Saturday's strong earthquake. CBS's Vladimir Duthier in Port-au-Prince says there's a desperate rescue effort to find any trapped survivors.
Hospitals are overwhelmed by incoming patients as rescue workers search for survivors under mounds of concrete and debris. The epicenter of the 7.2 magnitude quake is about 80 miles west of the capital, Port-au-Prince. The coastal town of Les Cayes was one of the hardest hit, and its hospital is at capacity. A private plane is flying patients to Port-au-Prince. It's a striking blow for a country that still hasn't fully recovered from a series of natural disasters. Rochit Edmond is Haiti's ambassador to the U.S. He says the rebuilding effort will be an arduous one, especially after the assassination of Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse last month led to even more instability. But he says Haiti's interim government needs to step up and rebuild a stronger nation.
We cannot avoid any earthquake, but at least when the earthquake comes, there will be better resistance of those buildings and every other infrastructure. So they won't collapse like a house of cards.
5 minutes after the hour.
That's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective.